Commander Walpole and Lieutenant Commander Benson are approaching to demonstrate the slow-speed handling characteristics of the Super Hornet in the clean configuration. They'll pass before you, virtually standing Blue Angels 5 and 6 on their tails. At less than 120 miles per hour, the fly-by-wire flight controls provide the slow-speed handling that sets the Super Hornet apart in the air-to-air combat arena. Ladies and gentlemen, the section High Alpha Pass. Completed an intensive winter training period at Naval Air Facility El Centro, California. The beautiful weather in the Imperial Valley provided us with the optimum conditions to fly each of the demonstration pilots on the 120 training flights necessary prior to our first public demonstration. Our show season opens on the 17th of April and runs through early November. The Blue Angels will perform 52 flight demonstrations while visiting 29 cities throughout the United States and Canada. The next portion of our flight demonstration will showcase all 6 aircraft flying together in formation. The Blue Angel Delta has been our signature 6-plane formation since 1958. Behind the crowd to the right, the 2 solo pilots have joined the diamond to form the Blue Angel Delta. Exit to the left. Observe as Commander Kesslering brings the formation back towards the flight line. Very shortly, all 6 aircraft will be approaching for the Blue Angel maneuvering Delta. 100 miles per hour. All 6 aircraft are approaching for the maneuvering Delta. As they pass over center point, you should get a good look at the Delta set used by the 5 wingmen. Of our maneuvers, as well as an in-depth look at our team and individual biographies. We invite you to visit our website and follow us on social media, including Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Delta is making their approach to the flight line. Approaching center point, the entire formation will separate in dramatic fashion. The Blue Angel, Delta Breakout. Your United States Navy Flight Demonstration Squadron represents a time-honored tradition of pride, professionalism, and excellence spanning 110 years of naval aviation. The 2021 team takes a great deal of pride in saluting Navy and Marine Corps aviators, maintenance crews, and support personnel everywhere. From the left, your 2021 Blue Angels. Upon naval aviators is that they be able to land their aircraft on a ship at sea, whether it be a tactical jet, a propeller-driven aircraft, or a helicopter. Each requires skill which the naval aviator must master. In order to perfect this skill, Navy and Marine Corps pilots spend a great deal of time in the landing pattern, practicing aerial approaches. In front of you now, Commander Kessering and his wingmen are demonstrating a simulated carrier pattern. Approaching the runway from the left, Commander Kessering is confirming that the landing checks have been completed and that each aircraft is in fact ready to land. Rolling out on final, they'll make constant power and lineup corrections, maintaining the optimum rate of descent for the proper touchdown point.
Hammerheads all day long, and they don't need to hear about that. Talk about me. So that's what we're going to do while Patrick flies in the little S1. And he always knew that he wanted to fly, and he attributed that yearning to his dad and his uncle. As a matter of fact, his dad worked for McDonnell Douglas Aircraft, and then later on in the Gemini program before he was hired by Ozark Airlines to work. So during his childhood, Patrick would fly every chance he could with his dad. And he also helped him build 2 award-winning biplanes. At the age of 5 years, he got really exposed to this type of flying because he went to Oshkosh with his dad, and they attended that every single year after that. Over the years, he continued to fly with his dad, and by 12, he knew what he wanted to do. He wanted to be a real-time aviator. At the age of, I love this, at the age of 16 years old, he was saving for his first airplane. At 16, I was saving for a Vespa motorcycle from Sears. That he wanted to do this, and so he didn't even get a car till he was 17 years old.
Well, that shows where the passion lies.
Exactly. And about
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take a moment to describe the unique history of what you are about to watch. In 1997, the leaders of Air Combat Command assembled a select group of retired military and civilian performers to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the United States Air Force. In 2010, the Air Force Heritage Flight Foundation joined with the United States Air Force to keep this popular program flying. From this gathering was born the Heritage Flight, a unique visual representation of Air Force history from the days of the Army Air Corps to present. What started out as a one-time event has grown in popularity and demand, and now heritage flights are performed at air shows and special events in the United States and around the world. your United States Air Force Heritage Flight. We hope you've enjoyed watching and taking pride in this rare display of more than 70 years of air power heritage. Gentlemen, that was Major Joshua Cabo Gunderson in the Raptor doing the Dan roll. From the right, Stuart Milson in the P-51 Mustang, maintained by the Kavanaugh Flight Museum in Dallas, Texas. He's coming in to do a 4-point roll.
You know, as he comes through, George, the sound of the Merlin engine is eclipsed only by the sound of the song that is indicative and emblematic of the Heritage Flight. Dwayne O'Brien from the band Little Texas wrote that song. I got 2021. All eyes to the sky. As Michael dives towards Show Air Center, that Hartzell propeller powered by a Lycoming Thunderbolt IO580 engine accelerates his airplane to
these events, you're helping to deliver top quality, including industry-leading STEM education and scholarship to young people, thousands of young men and women. The opportunities that ACE provides gives young people a competitive edge as they navigate their educational journey. Really, really support them if you can, ladies and gentlemen. Alrighty, I think we're going to talk about a P-40 Warhawk now, and that's back up to Rob.
Thank you, Larry Strain. There is an airplane that's going to be coming through from behind us here in just a couple of seconds. It was one of the leading, and take a look as we listen to the sound of the Allison V12 engine taking him skyward in a vertical climb. As we see the American Dream, the P-40 Warhawk, a very special P-40 that actually has two sets of controls, and we'll tell you why in just a little bit. Let's watch for just a few moments to the grace and to the sound of the P-40. The dream that Tom Richard had, that started when he was such a young man, began to come to fruition when he was 17 years old. As a teenager in Sweden, his grandfather gave him $2,500 and said, "Come on to the United States. Fulfill your dream, chase it, go after it, follow your passion." And now, we are there, and he is there. He has achieved his American dream. Flying at the National Championship Air Races in Reno, Nevada, in a highly modified P-50 P-51 Mustang called Precious Metal, the only Griffin engine-powered P-51 Mustang to compete at the Reno Air Races. He also wanted to fly Warbirds, and this is his favorite one. And I keep talking about the American Dream. Tom has named this aircraft the American Dream. He's accumulated more than 13,000 hours of flight time in general aviation planes, of which well over half is in Warbirds and a quarter in helicopters. In addition to flying Precious Metal at the National Championship Air Races, he's a World Cup winner in the International Formula One class. He's raced various jets. He's been sponsored by Breitling in the past, Breitling watches, and the leather jacket manufacturer Cockpit USA. And when he's not on the airshow circuit, you can find him at Warbird Adventures, where you can take a flight in one of his T6 Texan World War II fighter trainers. One was a Zero fighter, and the other was a Betty bomber. Lieutenant Joel Torkelson flew the aircraft for the United States Army Air Corps in New Guinea in 1943 and went on to a long career in the U.S. Air Force. That's the 8-point hesitation roll. If you'd like to fly any of Tom's beautiful aircraft yourself, you can book here in Florida for the next couple of months, or after that at their new location outside Columbia, South Carolina. Go see Tom and his trusty crew by the Warbirds and Review bleachers on the Warbird ramp. They'll get you scheduled to fly, and maybe you should learn to fly in a tail dragger. Go see Warbird Adventures. Warhawk gained its fame as part of the American Volunteer Group, headed by General Claire Chennault. When a lot of young men in the service temporarily resigned their commissions prior to the U.S. entry into World War II to fight the Japanese as they were attacking nationalist China prior to America's entry into the war right after Pearl Harbor on December 8th, 1941. The attack, of course, on the 7th, we declared war on Japan on the 8th. Multiple fast aileron rolls. Tom Richard and the American Dream. Low and to the left, cameras ready. The P-40 was also flown by the Royal Air Force prior to America becoming a participant in World War II, alongside the Hurricanes and Spitfires of the Royal Air Force. And when Curtiss was unable to keep up the production with the production needs of the Royal Air Force for more of the P-40 fighters that they called the Kitty Hawk, they actually went to the president of North American Aviation, Dutch Kindleberger. Here's photo pass. Here's Tom Richard. The British Purchasing Commission approached Dutch Kindleberger and said, we want you to build P-40s under license, which means that Curtiss Aircraft would turn their tooling and plans over to North American Aviation, and North American Aviation would take that and then build the Curtiss airplanes. And Dutch Kindleberger said, we don't want to build somebody else's airplane. And he said, give me 120 days. That was a very, very bold statement. But he had the rabbit to pull out of a hat, as I've heard my announcer friend Danny Clisham say, and it was a very, very unique wing design called laminar flow. And that enabled North American Aviation to take the Allison engine that's in the P-40, put it on the front of a completely new airframe with that laminar flow, very fast wing. And the Mustang was born, but not quite, because it didn't quite do well enough at high altitude with the British to keep up with the Hurricanes and Spitfires over Great Britain. So some enterprising engineers from the Royal Air Force took one of their Merlin engines, adapted it to the front of the Mustang, and then the Mustang was born. And Larry Strain, you and I were saying earlier that the Mustang engine, that Merlin engine developed by Rolls-Royce, was developed in greater numbers by somebody else. And that was the Packard Motor Car Company of Detroit, Michigan.
Exactly.
Some 56,000 of them were made. Isn't that an incredible number? Just a few moments, we'll be turning things over to the United States Navy Blue Angels. And then after that, what's coming up?
AEROSHELL team flight. I want to remind everybody too that we do have a night show tomorrow night. There is no night show tonight, but tomorrow night there's a night show. Lee Louderback will fly his beautiful P-51 Mustang. Michael GOULIAN will be flying in the night show. The Black Dagger jumped out of Pensacola due to the terrible weather up there, but they finally made it, did their runs here. Everyone is copacetic. They came to briefing this morning, and they are ready to fly.